What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy, 5 Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. But my heart is in Houston, Texas. This is the Wagering World. And I'm in here with my day one, man, the OG of the Wagering World, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spreader? Stay hard today.
Man, I'm excited to be back, and we got some exciting football to talk today as we head up north, and we're going to be discussing both those, both in the college football world and of course the NFL.
And also, I'm joined by my little bro, the YG of the show, man, the youngest man to ever manage and operate a casino sportsbook on the Vegas Strip. He gives us all types of inside information from his years of running one of the biggest sportsbooks on the Las Vegas Strip before 30 years old. That's my brother from another Casino Royale.
Wow. What's up, 5 Star? What's good, Wagering World? What's up, Spread? We got the U.S. Open, man. We got a lot of winners we're going to give you guys. Talk about some more football. I'm excited about this show right here. Been giving out some winners, kind of positive. 5 Star, you going to bounce back a little bit. Let's go.
Yeah, man, we had a really good one. What you guys do for the weekend? Y'all have a good weekend?
Yeah, I had a great weekend. I was excited. Got some hiking in, of course, and watched some of that preseason as well. So I was, after watching the games, I thought the Raiders were going to go with O'Connell. And I was really surprised that Minshew got named to be the starter there. So that was my main takeaway from the preseason. There were some other things as far as fantasy, second and third stringer guys that I might move up my rankings a little bit. But I think it's been a pretty good preseason this year. And I think it's because the quarterback class has been so exciting, right? We have 5 guys that we really want to see. So got some preseason football on and got some exercise and sunshine. It was a great weekend.
About you, Sino?
I ain't did much. Gave out a bunch of losers. That's not usual, though.
Nah, not at all.
Regular clients know we already up, so we can give back a couple units. I think I lost maybe 20 units. That shit sound crazy, but it's not too bad whenever you up 80 or 90, So right. I get it all back some way. We fighting. But I had the New York Yankees too, so my weekend was really, really nuts. How they blew that game against the Detroit Tigers last night. A Sunday, however you want to put it, whenever the show gonna be up, that was nuts. My weekend was rough. I'm just trying to hopefully new start this week, new Wagering World.
Yeah,
we gotta get it rolling, guys.
Come on, man. We're about to have a great week. You know how we roll. So we do this we win in the weeks and the months. Sometimes we're gonna lose a day or so, man, and it happens. But it's always us versus the machine.
We transparent. That's the best thing. We don't always talk about the winning and all the good. We talk about the bad side too, because we do it for the underdogs and the underground.
That's right, baby. And the thing you guys gotta always understand with sports betting, man, it's not a get rich quick overnight situation. A lot of you guys think you can jump in real quick, jump out. It doesn't work like that. The same way that you come to Merrill Lynch and you're going to trust your advisor to do what he needs to do. You're not dropping your money in Merrill Lynch and then you run it up there in the week talking about, hey, man, give me all my money back. You're not doing that. And a lot of times they put you in contracts when you're with these brokerage firms. And maybe as we grow with our consulting and the supreme clientele, we might have to do that too and make you sign up for 180 days before you can come touch your bread. But I don't really think, that I'm taking on any more new clients this year. I'm cool with the 8 that I got. It's always going to be quality over quantity over here.
Hey, at 5 Star, I had a couple of offers and stuff like that in my DMs from a couple of people, and I've been thinking about the same thing. The money's all good. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, damn, the money, but is it worth the headache and, having all these trolls and stuff in my DM if I have one bad week? Nah, hell no, it's not worth it. I like my peace, man. And again, the books really pay me. Before anybody pay me, the book's going to pay me. So, hey, the knowledge that I have, the stuff I learned over the years, if it's a will, it's a way. As long as they dribbling the ball, throwing the ball in the ass, somebody running, jumping, and kicking, we're going to make some money. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's a market, and we're going to find our way through it, man. Always, that's what we do, man. Hey, the only person that can afford us is the book. So when everything's down, the books are going to pay us. If you're tuned in right now to the Wagering World, we appreciate you for stopping by. Please hit that like button. We're trying to get these algorithms going, guys. We get a lot of views here, but we weren't getting enough likes to match the amount of viewers that we have on the show. This is our 3rd season going on here, man. We really appreciate everyone. You guys make the Wagering World. You are the Wagering World. Now show some love back to us for the work we put in to give you guys these shows. Let's get a like. Let's get a subscribe. Remember, if you subscribe, you can ask the guys who who contacted me, who sent the DM, they got a free play from. If you had screenshotted me in the DM, a picture of you subscribing and saying that I subscribed under the comments, hey, I took care of you. I sent you a play and it did cash. So continue to subscribe to the show. Continue to let me know if you do subscribe in the comments and send me the screenshots. If you don't send it to me, send it to Spread the Stats, send it to Sino Royale. All of us will be giving out free plays to everyone that subscribes to the show. We appreciate your support. We'll do it for you, man. You can find the show as always on YouTube. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, as I always say. We're everywhere the air is. Let's get into the past right now. Let's jump to 1967 Stingray Bet and get to the past, Fred.
Rublev takes out Nakashima, but I ended up splitting because I also had Sinner minus 1.5 sets, and it took him 3 sets to get the victory there. So
okay,
we'll update the record there. It was an all right weekend, but I'm kind of just getting ready for this football season and the U.S. Open. Cincinnati's a fun tournament for me because I handicap it like Wimbledon, where I just go off the servers. But my main takeaway from that is I don't think Sinner is physically capable of winning the U.S. Open. I wrote about it a little bit earlier, and watching him earlier in the week, I thought maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's there. He still doesn't seem to be 100%, and I think he's pushing himself through this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if he shut it down for the rest of the year at the end of the tournament.
That's going to be Sinner's problem throughout his career. Unless he has a drastic body change, that's what I noticed from him when he was even young. I've been betting Sinner probably now about 5 years. He's been on the circuit since he was 16, and he was good even then. I remember first seeing him in the next-gen tournament, and the next year he started upsetting guys and moved his way towards the top of the field. Tough kid, but man, his body is so slim, and when he hits the ball, you can see how he walks and stuff. He puts a lot of pressure on his hips, man, and he's been having a lot of hip issues. I don't know how long he lasts. I don't know if he has the body that's going to be able to endure playing this game of tennis. As we know, it's the most demanding sport, in my opinion, of all the sports, because you have to do so much and for such long periods of time. And if you notice, a lot of people they don't see tennis players as athletes, but these guys are real athletes. A lot of the players are really big guys. They look like quarterbacks. They're 6'3", 6'4", muscle, no body fat. And then even the ones who are smaller they're like little running backs or DBs, like no body fat, man, completely in shape. Center is a really slight guy, man, but he can play. Really tough-minded, love the redhead kid, man. I bet a lot of his matches over the years. He's number one because he won at Australia, but we all know that Carlos Alcaraz is the best player in the world. Getting back to your match a little bit, Rublev, he survived the tiebreaker in the first set, but then after that, man, Nakashima tried to push him a little bit in the first game. They got to deuce a couple times, but after he was able to survive that, he kind of just opened up the dam on Nakashima, man, and he broke him twice and wins 6-1. Then he comes back and he loses to Sinner in 3 sets. But what a match last night we saw from TFO and Room, guys. Did you guys see that match?
That match was crazy.
I bet on it, though. I lost the first set.
Okay. So you took TFO first set?
Yep. And he ended up winning the match. My luck.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he was going to win, though.
Yeah. First set he looked bad, but second set he was dominant. And then the third set was just a great match. The second set he dominated Room. Roon is one of these kids I don't know about. His mom, man. I don't know if his mom needs to be at these tournaments still. I feel like he's one of those mama boy types, and I think that his mom comes from like isn't she royal or something spread? Isn't she from like a royal lineage or something?
Oh, she might be. I know he does have that spoiled nature about him.
Yeah.
So we're really going to see in the next couple of years if he's going to grow up.
She got to take the teeth out of his mouth, man. Because every time he's playing, you notice he's up looking at her and asking her stuff and going, man, you've been on the tour now. Ruth's been on the tour about 5-6 years now, man. I know he's still a young kid. He's probably 22, 23 or something like that. But, man, come on. I heard that he was giving his girlfriend all types of problems and stuff. She seems like a kind of overbearing lady because she doesn't seem too happy with him at times in the stands. It's just I personally, don't get me wrong, if my daughter plays tennis, I'm going to be at the matches when she's younger. But as she gets older, I plan on doing like how Coco's dad does. You notice you don't even see him now because he knows what type of pressure he puts on her by just being there. You know what I mean? So because they're so close. So I just think Room's mom needs to back up off of him. Does Holger Rune ever win a major in his career?
Nope. As long as
I think he will.
what?
Yeah.
Which one? Spread.
But I don't know what.
He's in the wrong group of guys. He's
Thank
the
you.
same age as all the other guys who already beat him.
How you gonna win in that? And then if you're a mama's boy,
You think he could beat Alcaraz if it really comes down to it?
I mean, we're talking his whole career. The kid's only 22. Alcaraz might not stay healthy. We know that Nadal had health issues, and they have really similar games. When you play that grueling style of tennis, you know, if he misses a couple.
Nah, Alcaraz good, man. I can see, man, how he moves. He's a superior shit. Why he at the net jumping up? He jumping like 12 feet in the air with his knees just to show you before the match. Like, I'm about to get on your ass. You know, so I don't know. I think Alcaraz is going to be all right in the next decade as far as his staying in shape. He has that Federer body, like exactly perfect size for tennis. 6'1", like 200 pounds, no body fat. Holger Rune, he shows some glimpses in his game, but okay, what's his surface? What do you say his surface is, Fred?
Hard.
I think if he were to win, I'd probably put Australian first, maybe Wimbledon second. I think quicker is better for him.
Australia would be best because that's the one that, like Center stole. The people aren't ready for Australia a lot of times out of the year. You know what I mean? It's the beginning of the year. You're coming off Christmas. A lot of the big dogs, even though we know it's a major, let's be serious. People don't take the Australia as serious as they take the other three majors. So maybe so. Maybe he, practices hard in the offseason and surprises Alcaraz, because Alcaraz on the world tour right now. Carlos the man everywhere he goes, so he having so much fun right now. Hey, I'm seeing him now. He's Louis drip every time I see him now. I'm like, look at Alcaraz, man.
I know he got all types of. I know he got all types of women and everything.
Oh, come on, Dewey. Stop it, man. Dewey. He hanging out in Miami with Jimmy Butler. Come on, man.
Yeah, he
boy. He in some trouble. So it says he thinks Rune wins a major.
I mean, there's four options every year.
I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's bad. He's just one of those guys, kind of like Tiafoe. I think he's stuck forever right there in the what could have been range because he's just in the wrong generation.
And I think speaking of that generation, I think FAA wins a major before he does.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I like Rune as better to win than FAA.
FAA's time was when the old guard was just going out. At that time, he was killing the youngsters. He's
24, bro. He young.
He out of there. He not winning nothing. He might win a Masters. He's not gonna win a major. He gonna have a Zverev career. Yeah, I think he might win a Masters.
Ever since that ankle injury from Zverev, he ain't been the same. He got
long as Carlos Alcaraz is in his 20s. He not letting these dudes win.
Patty Mahomes.
He not letting these dudes win nothing. I'm telling you. He's not letting them win jack. As long as he's in his 20s, because he's got that competitive fire about himself like that. He's playing against himself. He's all about excellence. I don't think that his whole thing is like destroying all the records. So we'll see if he's able to do it. If he's able to stay focused between his popularity and his game. We got a great match tonight. Matter of fact, in the tennis world, the men's tennis championship going on in about 2-3 hours. Tiafoe versus Center. I kind of like Tiafoe in this one for the very reason you said, Spread. Now, the thing about Cincinnati that makes it really, really a weird tournament is because it's a Masters tournament, but it's right before the U.S. Open. It's an old school tournament that everybody respects, the oldest tournament in American history in tennis, but it's right before a major that everybody wants to win in the U.S. Open, because I think the U.S. Open is put itself right up there with the French, and Wimbledon now is a very, very popular tournament that people want to win just because the crowd and the excitement in New York now, like it's a different type of environment. It's rowdy. So if you get in a situation with Cincinnati where you can find some spots with dogs, because how hard are these players really going to push themselves, Spread?
And the other tricky thing about Cincinnati going into the U.S. Open is it's not a good warm-up. It's the exact opposite surface. It's the fastest surface. Maybe there's a couple in the Asian swing, which I barely pay attention to anymore. After
they stopped doing that. They stopped doing the Asian swing.
Yeah, so it's the fastest surface, and then we go to the U.S. Open, which is as slower than Indian Wells. So it's not even really a good tune-up. Queens and Halle are better tune-ups for Wimbledon than Cincinnati is for the U.S. Open. And I think that's another reason the players are just kind of like, let me get in, let me get my work in, but I don't need to push it the whole way. Now, I completely agree with you. I think that this match is mispriced. Now, will Tiafoe win? I don't know. But I'm seeing plus 257 offshore.
That's too
that
much.
Seems way too high to be taken on Sinner, who, like I said, doesn't seem to be 100%. And I know he willed his way through that last match, but how many times is he going to pull that off? And I also think this match means a lot more to Tiafoe than it will for Sinner. So plus 257, it's dog or pass.
What's the game spread? How much? What's the spread?
Minus 3.5, which makes sense on the really quick surface.
What do you think?
22.5. I kind of like the over.
I like the over. I lean that way.
What you think? Again, the over is one of the best plays because I don't think Sinner gonna come out. He don't care. He don't want to lose, so he'll play his best game. And after seeing how he played against Zverev, he'll definitely push it. And Big Four not a quitter. Again, we in the States. We in the States.
Not in America. No.
Yeah, that's we in the States. I feel he want to hold it up for us, so he gonna do what he have to do. And after seeing how he shook back, we talked about that earlier against Rune. You can't count him out, and it's not a major. They got a major. The U.S. Open about to come up. Sinner might take a step back, but I know Big Four not. So that's how I feel with it. We got some value though. Shit, take the over and take the points for Four. Take the 3.5. Why not?
We'll be talking a lot more tennis as the weeks go by. Next week we'll have a couple of tennis experts on there as we prepare for the U.S. Open. The qualies in this week, and actually Monday when we come on the air, they'll be kicking off everything in Flushing Meadows at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Great environment. I got to get out there. It's wrong time this year, but maybe next year, guys, we plan a trip and go down there. I know the Nukes will probably be there. He used to go every year to the U.S. Open.
All right, Sino, you split as well, right? Because you had the Astros minus 1.5.
1.5. Yeah, but I got freaky with it, man. I said Astros, let's do minus 2.5. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, first game they won by 1, and then the second game we did what we had to do. We
6-1. Yep. So you 3-2. We'll give you credit.
It was plus money, so we still up. But that game right there, man, in the second inning when the bases was loaded, I knew it was about to get ugly. Routine double play. He dropped the ball at the first base. I say, man, it's about to be a long night for old Spencer. I say he's about to get frustrated. And then after that, he gave up 2 home runs to Louis Robert Jr. Kid, I say, we in trouble. We playing from behind against the White Sox. And then we tried to do everything we can. We made it a close game, 1-run game. Again, in my system, plus 1.5, it's still a winner. But I never counted. That's nuts. That shit blew my mind. But then we came back the next day against the sorriest pitcher to ever touch baseball. His name, I fade him so much. As soon as I see it, I already know what to do. Just bet against him, take the run line. We did what we had to do. We won 6-1. But what you seen in them 2 games?
You know what happened. They lost that game strictly because they won 8 straight. They're on the road.
A lot of money.
These are veterans. They're not caring about a win streak like that. They just caring about staying in first place. They got a day off after being on the road for all those 2 weeks. They always land up with their man. Like they land up with their wife, their girlfriend, their side chick, whoever they like to be with the most, because they've been on the road. So they got to come home and spend some time with their loved ones, man. So I don't take much into that at all. They're veterans. They're not trying to win 20 straight games. They're just trying to stay in first place and get to the playoffs. This is a vet team. So I take no stock in that 5-4 loss.
Yeah.
What I did like, though, is that they rested the big dog. They let Bregman didn't play. They had Shea Whitmore. This kid's 25, so he's been in the farm system a while, but he played pretty good, man. He was pretty impressive substituting in for Bregman this weekend. Got a little DeZenzo in at first base, another farm player. Most impressive about the Astros, pitching is starting to come into form. That was my word all year, and if you can see what's correlated with the Astros shooting back to where they belong at the top of the AL West. Another impressive performance last night by Framber Valdez. 7 innings, 0 runs, 9 Ks. He only pitched 82 pitches. So Framber's back looking like we already know Framber's he's 1 or 1A always in the rotation, especially during the playoffs, man. He's a really good pitcher, left-handed guy with a lot of off-speed stuff, really tricky guy. Reminds me kind of Tom Glavine back in the game. The previous night, we got Hunter Brown, who was supposed to be the next Justin Verlander, and he's starting to look more like him. It was, at first they were saying it because they kind of favor each other the way that they pitch and stuff. But if he has half the career that Verlander had, we got one in him because we know Verlander's an all-time great from everything he's done pre-postseason and the woman he married. You can tell what kind of weird Justin Verlander is. So Hunter Brown has a really bright future for the Astros. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits. I only gave up 1 run on Saturday night, 6 Ks. Somehow Altuve is still the most underrated baseball player. I don't know how. He's a world champion. The Astros have dominated the American League. But I think it comes from the scandal, and I think that really turned Jose against, like, he's not a BSer. He's just a real Houston dude. Like, he's not even fake the funk like he likes to. So he doesn't even go. He gets voted in every year, and I like that he doesn't go. He goes back to Venezuela and sees his family during that time. He doesn't take part of all of the things that it takes to be looked at by the writers as that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to screw him out the Hall of Fame because he doesn't play by their rules as far as doing the things that they want him to do to be a star player in the league like Judge does, whatever. Judge don't have to do much. He's in New York, and all the baseball writers are Yankees fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that somehow Altuve is still the most underrated player in baseball.
And 5-star Saturday, the White Sox, again, they done the same. They went up 1-0. I say, shit, not all over again. And they done it in the first inning. I'm like, damn. So Altuve got up to bat in the third base. Third inning. I'm like, yeah, I could count on this guy. I know what he about to do. He automatic. This OG right here. And in my head, I'm thinking like, man, they really still be sleeping on this man. They don't talk about him as much. They don't give him his flowers. Like you said, he a world champion. He that guy. Like
the motive year in and year out. The Astros, you can count on one thing, and that's Jose Altuve, the little big man. Because it's many people who came and went. George Springer was the one I thought was the engine to it. He left. We still been successful. We thought Carlos Correa was the engine to the team. He left. The only thing that's been constant, man, is Altuve. We lost all types of pieces around him. Jordan Alvarez comes on later. Now it's a superstar with him. Bregman has been there the whole time, but Altuve is always going to be the leader that dug out him. When you got a guy like him who keeps his head down, works hard, and is a consummate teammate, your team is going to always be good. So I look for the Astros to continue doing what they're doing. I'm sitting on a great ticket because when they were sucking, I got the AL West for them to win the AL West and for them to win the American League pennant. And now I believe there might be the best odds to win the pennant now. So, we're looking good in Houston as usual with baseball. What we got, Spread?
Right. 5-star. We're going to talk about Rune taking on Gail Monfils. I know that was a tough bet for you to make. And also the Texans first half. Talk to me about what happened with you this weekend.
These were 2 of my easier bets. Rune, I knew that Monfils was going to be out with Septalina that night. They were going to have a great time. Him coming off of upsetting Alvarez. Alvarez so loved me, broke his racket. They're saying on social media it's the best racket breaking
that they see.
Tennis. They talk about look at the form.
Nah, man.
Yeah, but Monfils upsets him, and we knew that he was gonna take out Rune. But what was funny, he gave him a little sweat to begin. Monfils actually won the first set, but then Rune mowed him after that. Yeah, he mowed him after that. So we cashed that. Then Texas first half was the biggest layup ever. And it's crazy because the Giants made it more interesting than it was supposed to be because the Giants would not take their starters out. The Texas starters played like half of the first quarter. The rest of the game, it was all backup. Dayball would not take out Daniel Food Stamps in the offense for the Giants. He just kept trying to score it. The Texans kept getting them out the field with backups, man. I'm like, man, the Giants are about to have a hard season. They're about to be terrible, bro. Like, they put way too much money into, Daniel Jones. I don't get it. The guy hasn't shown any growth. You got a quarterback guru over there. You're still doing stuff like he did when he threw that pick 6 to Petrie. I don't know if y'all saw that. He got grabbed in the end zone. He just pretty much threw the ball up in the air, which means you're scared. So if you've been in the league all this time and you're still playing scared, man, you're not going anywhere. Maybe they're setting up to get the number 1 draft pick in the draft and get a quarterback because Malik Neighbors is going to beat him up in the locker room before the season over. I guarantee you. You got no Saquon Barkley to lean on and for him just to throw a little hitch and hope that he gets 20 yards for him to keep the drives going. I think that they have a really bad year. And I think the Texans have shown, even with the preseason, what a roster, what a vibe in that locker room. Every time that you cut to the sidelines, you see guys talking about the game and how to get better. We're seeing that their backups even are in mode right now. As John Mechie shines, they want to trade him in Houston, but why? He had the man got sick. He had leukemia. He got ill. Now he's getting back slowly to himself. He was one of the coldest receivers at Alabama I've seen. Great route run. So hopefully he gets a chance to get some run in with C.J. Stroud because he's been playing with the backups the last 2 seasons. And did you guys see Brian Burns could have smoked C.J. Stroud? He held up off of him one play for like the first quarter. When you get a chance, go search it. And I want everyone to learn from that play. When you get a chance, go watch Brian Burns as he eases up on C.J. Stroud in the preseason. Could have murdered him. You know why he didn't hit him like that, right? It's because he likes CJ and he respects CJ.
That's somebody got to be respected.
It's good, boy. It's a good thing. I tweeted. It's a good thing to be liked, but it's a great thing to be liked and respected, man. Everybody respects the type of young man CJ Stroud is, and even his opponents. He's got to that level like Brett Favre already in his second year, like Peyton Manning already in his second year, Brady already in his second year, where people on the other sides of the ball, people who are on the other teams want him to do well when they're not playing him. They don't want to hurt him. They just want to get him down. They just want to tackle him because they like this guy, man. And that's a great trait to have, man.
Right. You ready here? Because you got a lot of work cut out for you.
Oh, nah. You about to help you with this.
We heading to the Big Ten.
Damn.
Which might as well be called the Big 18. I mean, what is going on? Half of the colleges in America are going to be in this conference by the next 5 years as they continue to expand. And they're going to go ahead and they're going to make a run at the SEC to be the top conference in football. 5-star, I pulled up the odds on Bet Online here. Offshore book. Ohio State is the favorite to win the Big Ten at plus 135. We got Oregon at plus 190. Penn State ahead of Michigan. They're plus 500. Michigan's plus 800. And then USC's all the way back at 18-1. Talk to me about the top of this conference and how the influx of mainly these Pac-12 schools is going to affect the conference.
This is going to be a really, really interesting conference because it's some really dominant teams that you know are going to make the playoffs, but all of them are kind of missing a piece. Like nobody's a complete team. Like you look at the top, you got Ohio State. They got everything over there. It's unfair that the backfield that they have now with Junkins coming from Mississippi, they have him come over there from Mississippi, man, and now he's joining Travion Henderson. They got 2 first-round running backs that people would draft a running back in the first round because now we don't see that as much. Under Chip Kelly, you'll see a lot of the old Oregon style offense with Ohio State this year, running the ball in between the tackles. I wonder if they go up tempo. I don't know if Ryan Day wants to do that with the type of defense that they have because Ohio State has the most outstanding defense maybe in the country this season. 8 returning starters, one of the best cornerbacks in the country that you're going to definitely see playing on Sundays for sure, and Denzel Burke. Then they get Caleb Downs over at safety from Alabama, and he was a playmaker. So Ohio State has everything except the quarterback because people are higher on Will Howard than I am. He may be good. Maybe Ryan Day can coach him up and get him right and turn him into something, but I haven't seen anything from Will Howard at Kansas State to make me believe he's going to be able to take full advantage of all the weapons that Ohio State has. Once again, the wide receiver room is always loaded over there, man. They have another great, as always, at wide receiver with Emeka Egbuka. He'll be a first-round pick. I just worry about Will Howard. Can he be the guy? Or does Aaron Nolan, the freshman with a great name, Aaron Nolan, that sounds like a superstar player, right? He's a freshman quarterback that they have in the locker room. Will he be able to take over the reins, and do like C.J. Stroud did and become the guy as a freshman? C.J. Stroud's the only freshman I think they ever started Ohio State first game of the season. But this year they're going to be rolling with Will Howard. But can he hold off Aaron Nolan? Because Ohio State has everything. If he does what he's supposed to do, they're going to be hard to beat. Then you got Michigan. People are down on Michigan because they don't trust Alex Orji as the quarterback. They say he can't throw really, but I trust Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore really coached his team last season, right, guys? I mean, Jim Harbaugh was never there. So he was suspended for half the season last year. I'm sure he was putting in on the game plan, but you don't think that Sharon Moore can call Jim Harbaugh still the same way he called him? He might not be in the building, but he can still text him and ask him certain things that he might want to help with. But I believe that Jim Harbaugh was preparing Sharon Moore to take over this program all last year. And I believe he was giving him a lot of responsibilities. And I think he's going to be more than prepared for this job. Does he have a less talented team this year? Definitely. You know, that preseason all Big Ten, they only have a tight end on the offensive side of the ball, and Colston Loveland. They have a good defense as always. We know that one of the best cornerbacks you're going to find in Will Johnson. They say he might be the best cornerback in America. They get the Ravens defensive coordinator. They switch out. Mike McDonald was the defensive coordinator at Michigan. He goes to the Ravens. Now he's the head coach with the Seahawks, and now the Ravens defensive coordinator who replaced him goes to Michigan.
Dale's over at Michigan now?
Yeah, he's the Michigan defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I knew him and Dayball weren't getting along.
Yeah, so
he went to the Giants the year the McDonald takeover.
Yeah.
And supposedly him and Dayball didn't even talk.
I could believe that. So
yeah, and there was like two separate teams.
And so Wink Martindale now takes over the Michigan defense. We know what Wink Martindale's about. He's about blitzing. He's about pressure defense. I think he's going to do good in the Big Ten for sure. I think that Michigan is being undervalued this year. They're still the national champions. I know they lost a lot, but something about that maize and blue, and the thing about them as well is that Michigan has all of their tough games at home this year. It's hard to come to the big house and win. They got Texas early. That's going to tell a lot about their season when Texas rolls into town. Don't be surprised if Michigan surprises some people.
Cena, talk to me about your thoughts on the Big Ten. Are there sleepers we're underlooking? Is this going to be a chalky conference? Is it going to be top heavy? How are these West Coast imports going to shake up this conference?
I don't know how I feel about everything. The addition of Oregon and Dan Lanning. I'm a top guy like the chalk. So I really think they could be some contenders right there. And he got an addition of transfer Evan Stewart with Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. That's who I like. I keep it simple.
Dan Lanning. Yeah, no, I'm a big Dan Lanning hater. Dan Lanning, man, is a fraud to me, man. He a fake dude. I don't like him just because he was talking about Prime doing it for the clicks, and they out there wearing those Oreo McFlurry jerseys. But Oregon does have a squad. They got a lot of guys back. Now, can Dylan Gabriel be who Bo Nix was?
Bo Nix, yeah, that's what I was saying.
I don't think Dylan Gabriel's a pro quarterback, whereas in Bo Nix already showing you he's a pro quarterback, So Dylan Gabriel, I've watched him all the way from Central Florida, left-handed kid from Hawaii. He's undersized, and he gets hurt a lot. He got hurt really bad at UCF, I think, before he moved to Oklahoma, then transferred over there. Did all right last year. He upset Texas, so that's something he'll probably always remember in his career. Besides that, inconsistent, man. He's undersized, like I said, and he goes through these waves of not completing passes. Sometimes he's accurate, sometimes he's selling it, man. Left-handed kid. Can he get it done? Got better coaching over there at Oregon than he had at Oklahoma on the offensive side of the ball. Me personally, I'm just not a Dan Lanning guy, man. I think that he recruits well. I think he's a great defensive coach, but I don't know. When it comes to making some decisions game-wise, he tends to get emotional. I don't think that Oregon wins the Big Ten.
Right. When Lincoln Riley came to USC, it was thought that he was going to return them back into the national championship picture. He had the top quarterback prospect since Trevor Lawrence last year, and they still only ended up 8-5. I'm looking now. USC 18-1 5-star. Talk to me. Thought that Lincoln Riley was going to make the Trojans a championship contender. Doesn't seem like the books think so. What's going on down in the land of Troy?
Lincoln Riley better have a good season. That's all I'm going to say, because he 7-5 with Caleb Williams as the quarterback last season. We know it's a lot of we would have had a lot better being the coach of Oklahoma. They would have let him stay there through a couple down years. USC is not going to go for that with the type of money that they're paying him. You know, they're all still high off the Matt Liner, Reggie Bush teams for 20 years ago. And USC is not going to allow him to stay the head guy with them playing mediocre. And I think that they're going to have another mediocre year. They got a superstar over there right here from Vegas, right from Bishop Gorman, Zachariah Branch, but he's just a receiver. He can't stop anybody on defense, and that's why I think they're going to still struggle at. I know that they picked up some people, but when have we ever seen a Lincoln Riley defense really be sound? And in this division, in this part of the country that they're going to be playing in the winter time and stuff like that, I just think that USC is too soft. I don't know much about Miller Mouse. They're saying he's okay. I know they have UNLV transfer Jaden Maeva over there if he slips. And I also know they got LSU in the first game of the season. I'm going to try to get some tickets to get over there to go watch that over at the mothership over there at the Raider Stadium and the Legion Stadium. Maybe we can follow up in us,
Most definitely.
yeah, let's go see the LSU USC game. I think LSU is going to manhandle USC.
I was about to say they definitely should get
I don't think that. I also bet the over on that game too, because LSU's offense is going to be humming. But USC, I don't expect much from them this year, man. To be honest, I think Lincoln Riley might have been one of those guys who made a bad move. It sounded great going to USC, poached the guy from Oklahoma, so he can't never go back to that part of the country. Maybe Texas Tech will take him if their head coach doesn't work out. But I think Lincoln Riley ends up settling somewhere else. I don't think he stays in LA because think about it, his recruiting grounds isn't out on the West Coast. You know, he took the job because he was going to take Caleb Williams with him. I think that the last 2 years were their window to win the national championship in LA. And he better learn how to recruit on the West Coast, man, because USC is a West Coast program. And if he can't get those guys from LA to believe in what he's doing, he's going to have a really hard time in the Big Ten. But I don't expect much from USC this year. They should make a bowl. Like, you know, that should be good enough to figure out a way to win 6 games, I think. But I don't expect much more.
I think it's going to be tough for them, 5 star. Looking at the stats right here, 10 of the teams they going to match up with, they have winning records last season. 5 of them won 9 or more games. I'm looking at 0 of these squads. They are racked up, 3 or 4 wins last season. So I don't know. Lincoln Riley and them in a world of trouble, man. Just looking at these numbers right now, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at their schedule, they lose to LSU. They probably beat Utah State at home. Then they go to Michigan and probably lose. And they got Wisconsin at home. I don't know if they have one. At Minnesota might be a loss. Penn State is a loss. At Maryland is going to be tough. Rutgers might be a loss, but they'll be at home with Rutgers. Now, they might not get to 6. They should win at Washington, Nebraska. They should beat UCLA this year. It's going to be tough. They'll be just fighting to get to a bowl, man.
Like, they get mauled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you mention that schedule, it's another concern for me for these West Coast teams. That's a lot of travel.
Yes, man.
Go to Minnesota one week, go to Maryland the next.
Bro, I'm all about the kids getting paid, but y'all could have thought of a different way. They supposed to keep the Pac-12 together. Whatever that stupid commissioner did was so dumb, not taking that TV deal and getting that money, man. Pac-12 would have been probably the highest ranked conference this year. Last year definitely was. And they sit up there, and now they got these kids, man, taking all these flights across country during the middle.
And even if they were good, that's going to wear on them.
Yeah.
Compared to the SEC, where you going, what's a big trip? Georgia to Mississippi? I mean, that's nothing like going from LA to Maryland.
Yeah, and LA to Wisconsin, LA to Michigan. Yeah. Those are long flights, man.
And they're not going to be acclimated like – that weather is going to be a huge advantage, and we know it's easier for them to come out here and play in the warm weather than it is to go out there.
Oh, it feels good. It's a bowl game out here going to LA. Now you got to come, UCLA having to go play in freaking Wisconsin in the middle of freaking November. Yeah, right. Like, good luck with that. Yeah, I don't like this new conference alignment. I don't like what the Pac-12 teams did. I know the money was good, but man, you guys should have thought of a way to keep your conference together, man. There's no way that you should have those kids having to travel that far.
Right. Is there any sleepers that I'm missing? I mean, Washington in the national championship game last year.
Nah.
66-1. I mean, what's going on here with some of these other teams?
I love Jed Fish, but he sold out of Arizona. Jed Fish should have kept his job at Arizona. He had all of that talent coming back, and we're going to preview them when they go to the Big 12. Guys know I love that Arizona team. They won us a lot of money last year. At the end of the year, Jed Fisher just had that team going. right quarterback in, Tario McMillan, top receiver in the country. And now he just gave all of that to a coach from San Jose State. Now takes over at Arizona, and Jed Fish takes Washington on the down. Man, Washington's about to fall all the way off. They're about to look just like I remember TCU did. They went to the national championship
And then that
the
next
year
year,
before, and then the next year they won like 4 or 5 games. That's how they're about to do. Washington about to fall off, man. They don't have a lot of talent. The team to watch is another Pac-12 coach that has moved. He's been forced to move because Oregon State can't really play for anything now. You got Jonathan Smith leaves Oregon State because their situation with the Pac-12. Probably would have stayed there. He was a alumni, played quarterback that led them to their most successful season. Now he goes to Michigan State. And he brings Aiden Childs with him. Aiden Childs is a bad boy. You didn't get much out of him last year because he was trying to save his red shirt. He didn't want him to play a lot. He let DJ Uiagalelei be the quarterback there, and he disappointed as usual, like he's about to disappoint in Tallahassee. He has a really good staff. Watch for Coach Smith, man. Coach Smith is a really good coach. He knows what he's doing. Michigan State, what's their over and under on their win total right now, spread?
Let me pull that up right now. While I do that, Sino, do you have any sleepers in this division?
I definitely do have a sleep in this division. Now that I'm looking at the schedules, Nebraska. We got Coach Matt Rule coming back in his second season. He did turnarounds at Temple and Baylor. The only thing I'm scared of is their new quarterback. He's a freshman quarterback, but looking at the schedule, they don't play against Oregon, Michigan, or Penn State, so they definitely could be a sleeper. So I consider the Huskers to do something. I take them, Nebraska.
Yeah, that quarterback's supposed to be next Mahomes.
That's
he does everything like Patrick Mahomes. He tries to pattern his whole life after him. He has the hairstyle, the same mannerisms and everything. He was really a good high school player, I think, in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And now let's see, can he finally get it done? Nebraska has been down for a long time, and now maybe they got the right coach. They had the right coach because we know that he knows what he's doing. Another sleeper too. What was the win total on Michigan State spread?
Man, you're gonna love this. Offshore, I can get over 5 at +108.
My best bet talking about this conference is Michigan State going over 5 wins. I really believe in their coach, man, and I really like Aiden Childs a lot, man. I think that he's a baller. I think Jonathan Smith has been working with him now 2 off seasons. He's gonna have that kid ready to go. But another team to just keep an eye on that nobody's talking about real quick is the Indiana Hoosiers. I know it sounds crazy, but if you go look at the transfers that this team brought in, they brought in a lot of transfers, man. And they got my guy Curtis Rourke from Ohio will be the quarterback. You remember I like his brother a lot too. His brother was in the league. He played for the Jags, and now I think he's back in the Canadian League. But Curtis Rourke is a baller. He went to Ohio. He got injured, but now he's 2 years off a knee injury, man. 6'5" Canadian kid that can throw and run the ball. And they got Coach Kirk Signetti. He was the coach last year at James Madison. He brought a lot of his talent from James Madison over there and reached out and got some other guys. So expect Indiana to stir it up a lot more than people think. I really like Kirk Signetti. I got to take the odds on Michigan. Ohio State and Oregon are favored. What's the odds for Michigan to win?
8-1.
Give me that 8-1 on the national champions. I like Sharon Moore. I think they figure out the quarterback position, man. I think that Michigan. I think that the defense remains one of the best defenses with Wink Martindale coming in. I know Kirk Campbell is the offensive coordinator, is a quarterback coach last year, doesn't have a lot of experience, but I don't think Sharon Moore lets him call plays. He's been calling plays since he's been in Ann Arbor, so why would he get that up just because he's the head coach, So let's go with Michigan on the upset. Nobody thinks that they can do it. They also got Tuttle coming in, a kid from Indiana. He might end up being the quarterback because he could throw a little bit better than Orji. But I think people are down on Orji. He got a lot of good size on him. 6'3", 230, speed. You got Donovan Edwards in the backfield. Tyler Morris is a really fast guy that can play. This is Michigan, so they're going to have some receivers on the outside. The defense is really good still. So I'm going to just try Michigan, man. We do this with value when it comes to buying these futures. Like, why would I buy a future on Ohio State and Oregon? I actually think Oregon will go under on its win total, so I'll be playing that. But my biggest play for the Big Ten preview is definitely the over on Michigan State on their wins. I think Michigan State is a better team than people are giving them credit for.
Oregon sitting at 10.5 wins.
Under.
Final thoughts on the Big Ten.
Before we cut it off, 5-star, what you think about Rutgers, man? They don't got no tough schedule. They don't play Ohio State. They don't play Michigan. They don't play Oregon. They don't play Penn State. But what about them guys?
Rich Yard is a hell of a coach. They have Kalakamanus.
Yeah.
He has a difficult name to say. He kid was a starting quarterback last year at Minnesota. I remember him. He's athletic. He can run. He can throw the ball. They got rid of Gavin Wimsatt. He ended up going to Kentucky because he lost the job to this kid. But you know the way Shiana wants to play. He wants to play ball control. They do have maybe one of the best running backs in the country in Kyle Naga. So no, you know how I am. I like to bet what's on the jersey and on the helmet. So I can't accept Rutgers as being a real
Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, I can't accept them as being a real factor, but I can see with their schedule how you can expect them maybe to go over on that win total. So, you think over on their wins?
Yeah. What's that number spread?
Rutgers is at 6.5.
Yeah, that should be. They should definitely finish over that.
Okay, so Zeno says over 6.5 wins for the Scarlet Knight. I say over 5 wins for Michigan State.
I might not have picks for the college football Big Ten, but I will have some picks for you today as we swing on over to the AFC North, the black and blue division. These guys beat each other up. The hardest hitting brand of football, man. This type of football will take years off your career, probably years off your life, the way these guys smack each other around. Love the rivalries here, and we have some serious Super Bowl contenders coming out of here. Let's talk about who's the best quarterback. I think that's a fun conversation. And of course, my guy, Mike Tomlin. But Sino, before we break this down piece by piece, your overall thoughts on the AFC North.
The whole AFC North, I'm so excited about it. Of course, we have the Ravens as the betting favorite of the division, which I think they shouldn't be. You know how I am, LSU all day, Joe Burrow. The Bengals, I think they should definitely be up there. We got the Steelers, and they in the division also. They added Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, in the offseason. And like I say, Burrow could be healthy in week 1. It's going to be some trouble for Lamar and team. What you think, 5-star?
This is always one of the best divisions in football, man. It's always where they get at least 2 of the teams in the playoffs. You know how I feel about Joe Burrow. You know, he's that guy. Last year, he had a couple of injuries and was coming off an injury. So now can we expect him to stay healthy? That's the thing now we got to start talking about when it comes to Joe Burrow, you know. Lamar, can he get it done in the playoffs? Simple as that. That's like these questions are basic, like for each of these teams. Cleveland, are we going to ever see the old Deshaun Watson? That's the question for them. If we could even see a glimpse of the Deshaun Watson we had in Houston, they're factoring into this because we know they have a great roster, but I haven't seen that Deshaun Watson since he put on the orange. You know, he has not been the same since he went through all of those allegations, trying to get his name with some bad press. And then lastly, still about the quarterback. With the Steelers, Mike Tomlin has had hell at quarterback ever since Big Ben left. Big Ben was his quarterback when he came, and he stayed there a long time, and he won him his only Super Bowl. Ever since Big Ben has dipped, they've sucked on offense. And a lot of people said that Big Ben was the offense, and now I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to believe he ran the offense in practice. I'm starting to believe Big Ben was telling the receivers where to be. I'm starting to believe Big Ben was calling his own plays on the field because their offense has looked a mess since he's left. Now you got a quarterback who's in the twilight of his career, Russell Wilson. Can he still find the magic that he used to have with Seattle? And then we have another kid, Justin Fields, who he's in the morning of his career. Can he tap into the talent that we saw at Ohio State that made me believe he was the best quarterback coming out that draft that season, and the Bears give up on him. They play Caleb Williams instead. Justin Fields has been throwing the ball really well in practice, but the problem is Justin Fields still doesn't trust his eyes from what I've been getting from the Pittsburgh beat writers. They say he's still holding the ball too long. So will he ever be able to get over that? Because we know, as we said, Pittsburgh isn't the organization you want to come to and develop as a quarterback. You got to already be there because they don't coach the quarterback well, kind of like the Bears. So it's a very interesting division. Me, I'm a big fan of everything they do at Cincinnati. You know that. Cincinnati has a great program over there. I like to go with teams that have an ex-quarterback and coach. So I like Zach Taylor a lot. You know how I feel about Luke. Onarumu spreads. You know, that's my guy. He's one of the most underappreciated coordinators in the whole NFL. For the last 3 seasons, the Bengals have always had a great game plan going into every game. Like, I never have to worry about their game plan. Now I have to worry about their injuries. That's what I have to worry about. So Cincinnati, if they can stay healthy, that should be okay. I have a new running back in the backfield now. They give the ball to Zach Moss, but I say watch for Chase Brown out of Illinois. He has a chance to be really explosive, but Mixon was a real big part of that offense, not only with blocking and running the ball, but also with catching the ball out the backfield. So does Joe Burrow miss him moving forward? Ravens, we already know it is, and they just got a little bit more powerful and more gangster with them signing the big guy who he's going to be really motivated. Tennessee saying he was too old now. And I just saw him working out, and Derrick Henry looked like he ain't lost a step because we know he's a workout monster. So you got Derrick Henry with Lamar putting it in his gut. I don't know, man. It might be a little dangerous. And if their receivers do what they're supposed to do, oh, man, they supposed to. Really, Zay Flowers is supposed to have a great year. Rashad Bateman, he's good, man. He's just been injured, but Zay Flowers should have a great year because there's no way you can keep the safeties, back with Mark Andrews working underneath as one of the top 3 tight ends in the whole league, and Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson threatening your linebackers. And you saw Lamar slimmed up this year, which I think was a great idea because he's always sold himself as being sinewy. People think that just because you're slim, some people are like, oh, he's at risk of getting injured because he's slim. Not everyone who's slim is injury prone. Some bodies are just built different. I always feel like he had a body. Him and Jaden Daniels, I think, are kind of similar. I don't think that they're going to get hurt. I think that they've been playing at that size their whole life, and they're strong and slim. It's a big difference between being strong and slim and being just slim, And I'm glad he lost some weight because he was missing some burst last season.
All right, I'm going to ask some of those questions specifically. Sino, I'll start with you. The question that 5-star posed about the Cleveland Browns is, are we ever going to see that elite version of Deshaun Watson ever again? I myself have my doubts. I think he lost it mentally and physically. I think that shoulder injury is still bugging him. He got the guaranteed money. You don't need to get out there. What are your expectations for the Cleveland Browns? And mainly, how do we expect Deshaun Watson to do? I know some fantasy circles love him. I don't know if I'm in on that take. What are your thoughts?
Again, man, Deshaun, he's been in shambles since 2020. Like, we don't know if he's healthy. We confused about his play. Our mental is everything, man. And if you in the right and you're being accused of wrong, that really, really could mess with you. And you're right, you're doing everything. But then if you're in the wrong, you're wrong, and you're like, damn, I had no business doing all that. And as a man, you have to accept your faults. And deep down inside, everybody ain't looking at you the same. Like, and that's definitely gonna affect your play. Like, that's definitely going because it's your mental. And I just feel his mental gone, and he can take all the therapy. You can pay him all the money you want. That goes right there to show you money, not everything. Like, they gave him that big check, and he's still not playing. He'll be like, oh, man, he still have some mental problems, and that's just, we human. Like, we human, he human, and I don't think as long as he, snapping the ball, saying hype, the Cleveland Browns will never win. They're not gonna win that division. It's for sure.
That's a great point. So, the mental. We know one thing. Deshaun Watson prided himself in being like clean-cut, good guy that wants to be a great example for everyone.
CJ Stroud.
It's crazy because the Texans end up redoing and then rebranding and getting a better version of him, a more accurate quarterback, a quarterback who really is doing right when the camera's not looking. A quarterback that people really respect, because they used to respect Deshaun, man. Deshaun's one of the most popular guys in the NFL, man, until that. Now he's almost untouchable. And I blame all of that on one person, and that's his agent. His agent gave him some bad advice, man. And I blame Deshaun for not being wise enough to see what was going on. You can't let an agent control your career. You got to remember, just like when I used to be going to court when I was young, the old school told me a long time ago, never forget the attorney works for you. Because a lot of times attorneys will start telling you stuff and forget you're paying them. I don't work for you, man. You work for me. And that's kind of what he did with his agent, man. That guy has done a lot for athletes. Don't get me wrong. I always want the athletes to win. So don't get me wrong. David Mulugeta is a really good agent. He's got a lot of people money. He's got a lot of dudes paid. But Deshaun was his first like big time quarterback that he had under his roster. He had been dealing with Jalen Ramsey, and Michael Thomas, AJ Terrell, Kyle Pitts, Buda Baker. These are all defensive players and guys who play skills positions. You cannot, I repeat, as a starting quarterback, as a franchise starting quarterback who just got paid, do what Deshaun Watson did. You cannot do it. They had just put in all of their stock into him. Everything that they had was invested in him and what he was going to do in the future. And Deshaun Watson simply let them down and turned his back on them and said he wanted to force a trade for no reason. If they're rebuilding, you see how quick they did the rebuild now. He could have had the same team that we see with CJ. You know, like it's only the owner being smart enough to hire the right people, which he did. Instead, he tried to force his way out, and that made the Texans turn on him. And now all of this information is all of a sudden coming out. You know what I mean? Not like rich people don't have contacts to the media, right? So Deshaun had bad advice from his agent. His agent tried to act like he was a cornerback or something because he's able to force Jalen Ramsey out anytime he wants. You can't do that with franchise quarterbacks, man. And the Texas organization looked at it as it was like kind of like cutthroat and did what they were supposed to do. And as we see from history right now, it seems like the Texans benefited from the best karma as they get a quick rebuild, maybe the best rebuild we've seen in football. And now Deshaun Watson just went from a hero to a villain. And I don't know if he's going to ever be able to find himself again. As you said, I don't know if he's going to ever be able to deal with being the guy that he is in the media now. And then I just feel like the Browns wasted a lot of money. It's a great trade by the Texans. But I just feel like the Browns really made a bad move. But, hey, kudos to his agent, Mulugeta. You know, he got him paid. First quarterback with a guaranteed contract in the NFL. So he got him paid, but at what cost?
So, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin continues to have winning seasons in spite of the odds. Probably upgraded at quarterback, but even with Watson out there, I don't know. I think they still might have the fourth best quarterback room in the division. Can Mike Tomlin work his magic again? And will these Steelers end up with the winning record, or is this the year it kind of all falls apart there?
2024, the year changed. You got two losing quarterbacks going over there. They about to give you a losing record this year. It's going to be his first time, and he's going to be mad as hell. And, of course, there's going to be two brothers to go do it to him. Simple as that.
I couldn't agree with you more, bro. Like,
simple as that.
Don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson played really well last year for the Broncos, even though people don't say he did. He was working against Sean Payton. Sean Payton was trying to get him out of there because Sean Payton didn't want to pay him that money. He didn't feel like he was worth the money he was taking up on the cap, and that's why Sean Payton's a perennially great coach because he knows how to make winners. And Broncos are about to turn the corner really soon. Bo Nix is going to be on a rookie deal, and they're going to look really good and win a bunch of games in the next coming years. Pittsburgh, everybody begged for them to get Russell Wilson. Everybody begged for them to go get Justin Fields, and neither one of them are going to matter because it just the offense, man, is not good. Najee Harris, he's one of those guys who was broken down like Trent Richards as soon as he got to the league. Saban had already ran him into the ground. He was finished when he got to the league. Good kid, means well, but he has no burst. They're really better with Jaylen Warren at running back. He's a player.
Warren's going to be out to start the year. He had some hamstring issues this week in camp. He could miss the first 3 weeks. He could miss the first 6 weeks. So it's going to be Najee's ball there to start the year.
That's not good. Then you look at the receiver room. George Pickens is a star, but they let go of Deontay on the other side. You know, there was the Burnley replacement with Van Jefferson. I don't know if I could trust Van Jefferson. He dropped a lot of balls with the Rams.
Roman Wilson.
Yeah, he's good, but he's a rookie still, so we don't know what we're going to get from him, you know. I just think that they're the worst team in the division, you know. But we'll see how it works out because we also know that they have one of the best defensive players of all time with T.J. Watt. Him and Patrick Queen together are that good. Cameron Haywood, that good. So just expect more typical Pittsburgh games. I'll be betting
I
under.
think they're going to win a lot of games 17-16, and I won't be surprised if Tomlin pulls out some magic again, just on the strength of
But you
that
saw
defense.
the score you said. That's why I lean to if anything for them. Just bet the unders on all their games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Regardless who's the quarterback, because Fields, if he's out there, he's going to chew up a bunch of clock.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen him, and you can only go so far with him. He looks like he's one read and tuck, right? If George Pickens ain't open,
is too.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson does the same thing.
So what we do? Just bet the under. We just bet the total.
Russell Wilson go through progressions.
We just bet the total under for every game of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
The thing about Russ though is he can make stuff happen. I don't know about anymore, but when he was really good in Seattle, right? He was real good when them plays broke down, and he never had a good offensive line. He was really good, kind of playing that street ball style. We've never seen that from Fields. When he extends plays, he usually extends it for his own gain, and not getting it to those guys out on the field. They both got some upside there. I think this team's going to be better than people expect, but I just don't think they got really a chance in the playoffs at all. In my mind, I think they're going to get blown out in the wild card, but I think they might be there and they might sneak in.
Okay, well, you already know spreads are definitely a Tomlin truther, and
Tomlin. There I am.
I got a lot of respect for my guy too, so it's no telling with him. But I just don't like that quarterback room, and I don't think Russell Wilson's bad at all. I just don't think that it's enough around him. I don't like their offense at all. It has no pop.
My real concern is the line.
Yeah.
I think they might have the worst offensive line in the division. It's a bad division to have a bad O-line.
Yeah, but they got
to go against Myles Garrett, the whole Ravens, which are just stacked. I mean,
they got Arthur Smith, though. One thing we know about Arthur Smith, he's an ex-lineman himself, and he did a good job with Atlanta and Tennessee.
Yeah,
with the line. I think that Arthur Smith will be able to schematically.
And I think they'll run the ball a lot to kind of keep the pressure off.
Yeah, but that's the problem. If Jalen Warren's hurt, man, you don't want Najee Harris getting 20 carries.
I don't see why you're so down on him. I don't think he's like a top 10 guy, but I think he'll be like, if you do a wins above replacement, he's replacement level. He's not like, he's not just like a bum. I think he'll be cool.
He just
don't got no burst.
Yeah, he's slow, man. He's so slow.
I think you could pick up first downs with him.
Yeah. Antonio Brown's not coming through that locker room door.
CTSPN.
So, yeah, we'll see how that goes for them. So, the value for me on this division, if you're saying offshore they plus 150, I'm taking the Ravens over Cincinnati just slightly, just because I think that Lamar is a step ahead of Joe as far as in having this team rallying and believing in having a winning culture in this locker room. I think the Cincinnati, it's more about Joe Burrow puts them in position to win, don't get me wrong, but can you count that he's going to be there to play? I think Lamar is clearly the guy over there, and they move as he moves. And
I think Lamar helps you more in the regular season, but if it's a playoff game, I want Joe Burrow out there.
I agree definitely. Yep.
And I think with the addition of Derrick Henry, there's going to be a lot of hype stuff. Usually like that, it don't go well. So I don't think they're going to do nothing.
I think he's going to be the exception that proves the rule, though.
Yeah,
usually we don't like running backs after they turn 30. I think he still look good, and I think he's going to open things up for Lamar during the regular season. Because when you got every linebacker keyed on Henry, Lamar's going to have a lot of room to work. That's
because if you dropping your safeties on Henry, bro, he's going to run through those. The linebackers today are our size. They like me in spread size. They like 6 foot 200. Like no linebackers are big monsters like they used to be, like 6'3", 250, and no, they make those guys rush ins now, just like Michael Parsons. He was a linebacker. They put him on the end.
The Ravens lost some people on their offensive line, too. They made a couple of replacements, so their O-line switched up also. So, I don't know. We'll see.
And they got some change. You're right about that. And we need to consider also, you got some change on defense as well. Zach Orr, I don't know who that guy is. It's going to be his first time being a defensive coordinator. We'll see how that goes because we know how good their coach Mike McDonald was. That's why he's the head coach now with Seattle. So, it is some change.
And we saw that with Philadelphia last season, where I think that myself included, and I don't want to speak for you guys, but I know that I underrated the loss of Jonathan Gannon. And we saw with a lot of the very same pieces how that defense didn't look as good with the downgrade in the coaching staff.
We speaking of the Ravens, shout out to my homeboy, Anthony Levine. He won 2 championships with Baltimore, the co-captain of the special teams right before he retired. He retired the Baltimore Ravens.
And John Harbaugh made his bones in special teams, so he's got a special place in his heart for those type of players. And I think that's something when we're looking at John Harbaugh's coaching career as a whole that we underrate the fact that we kind of think of offense and defense. And, when we've done these previews, we haven't talked about special teams at all, but they consistently have a top 5 special teams unit on both sides of the ball, whether or not it's Justin Tucker. He missed like once, and all of Twitter almost broke.
Yeah, and people like, what?
He's so automatic.
Their coverages are constantly elite. How will they adjust here? Because maybe that's something that will change things with these new rules. Harbaugh's been coaching the same way for 20 years, but that's another advantage I think the Ravens have is they're consistently the best special teams unit in their division.
And you know what? It's funny that Cincinnati and the Ravens are probably head and shoulders over their 2 teams because they have the 2 best clutch kickers as well. Because Evan McPherson for Cincinnati has been money all through his playoff. Let's get to this ball and parlay.
All right, ball and parlay time. 5-star, what do you got for the people?
As you know, everything's kicking off in Flushing Meadows this week. We're going to hit the qualifiers, man. I found a lot of value in the qualifiers. And we're going to go get Olivia Gadecki. She's pretty much a hardcore player, a young lady from Australia. She cracked the top 100 yet, but she's been really good. 250 level, 100 level, 7-3 in her last 10 matches. Decent players, man. And now she gets to face Victoria Rakankova, who used to be Victoria Kuzmova. Now she got married and she's Hurankova. She was terrible as Victoria Kuzmova, and she's still terrible as Victoria Hurankova. So we're going to go with Gadecki, a lady who gets into the main draw. She's always good at these major qualifiers, and I think that she gets past Miss Hurankova. And then I'm going to parlay her with Jacqueline Christian. Jacqueline Christian is playing Greek Minion. Greek Minion has been struggling lately. Christian is a really good player, and especially against Greek Minion, since she has a 2-0 record against her. Minion has never won a set off of Miss Christian. So we'll go with the French lady. So let's go with Gadecki times Jacqueline Christian. That's a 2-teamer, and it pays what, plus 147 spread?
That's right. That's what I got it at right now.
All right, so 5 stars ball and parlay is going to be Olivia Gadecki at the U.S. Open qualifiers tomorrow, Tuesday, and Jacqueline Christian against Greek Minion at WTA Cleveland, I believe they're at. All right, guys, so you got that ball and parlay from me. Let's cash.
Sino, what do you got for us?
All right, I'll keep it WTA also. Tomorrow, we got Jana Fett. We're going to ride with her. She going to play Pochette tomorrow. Jessica, she got the upper hand on already. She won one time in the head-to-head, and for some reason, Fett is the favorite. Usually in these situations, I like to play the line and stuff like that. So we're going to play the line with Jana Fett. Drop a unit on that.
I like that too. Good fit. We'll be trying to get into the U.S. Open. All these are qualifying rounds.
I'll be honest, I didn't feel too good about those qualifiers. I probably haven't been up on my players rank between 100 and 200. So I'm going to circle back around to what we just discussed in the NFL. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow to go ahead and win that division. Shop around a little bit because I think you can get a better price than the one that I quoted. But at the end of the day, I'm taking the best quarterback in the division, and I know Lamar's got better stats. And if you're playing fantasy football, draft Lamar. He's going to be awesome. But in real football, wins and losses, give me the guy that can drive the team down the field at the end of the game, the guy that's going to stand in the pocket, make those throws, and we know he's got a great receiving core to get to. So give me the Cincinnati Bengals to win the AFC North.
All right, so spread's going to go with a future for you guys that you can tap in on right now at a good price at, I think, plus 150, and look to cash it later on in the year. He thinks the Cincinnati Bengals bounce back this season, and they take the crown from Lamar and the Ravens. And you heard Sino, he likes Jana Fett to beat Pochette. Pochette has really struggled lately. And then I'm going to go with a 2-teamer for you guys. You could also bet them straight as well. it's a little juicy on the Gadecki side. I think she's minus 220 or something like that, but it's worth it. I'm going to give you guys Olivia Gadecki, and I'm also going to give you Jacqueline Christian from France. Guys, we had a long show today, the Big Ten. The Big Ten, we're still trying to talk about all the teams. They got more teams in the Big Ten, man. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. So they got 18 teams now, something like that. But guys, we appreciate you for tuning in. As always, I dedicate this show to my father, the greatest Houston sports fan that I know, John H. Lenz. I do this for you, Dad. You guys hit the like. You guys hit the subscribe. Put in the comments that you subscribe, and we will get you a free play. TheWagerWorld.com coming soon. For Spreader Staff, Casino Royale, I am 5-star in Vegas. This is The Wagering World.